Greetings, Mech Warriors. This is Arn Delft. Welcome back to the Mech Warrior Online Battlefront. What I'm going to be covering today is just a few of my thoughts on the way the C-Bill reward system, how they award you C-Bills in-game, that whole system that PGI has set up. First off, I do want to say that I love Mech Warrior, and have loved Mech Warrior since long before PGI set its sights on it. Secondly, Mech Warrior Online is a decent game, and it has a lot of potential. But the fact that PGI, in all this time, has yet to reach for the majority of that potential speaks volumes about whether or not they even plan to. AKA, they don't. And I really can't fathom why. Today I would like to address one of the biggest issues in the reward system, that being PGI's accidental creation of the WBMP system, which WBMP stands for Wannabe Maverick Program. This basically what it is almost the entirety of the PGI reward system is based off individual stats in each battle, with the exception of faction battles, as you know, that's to be expected. You're dropping 4 mechs. But when you count the fact that you're dropping 4 mechs in, it kind of makes you realize that while sure you do, when you win, you get, you know, that so much more depending on the contract you've currently signed up with. It's not terribly that much more for winning in the faction battles. But getting back to quick play, I would like to address how small the reward is for winning compared to losing. You literally only get 10 grand more for winning, which might sound like a lot unless you've actually played the game. And then you know just how small that is. Like, pathetically small. With this in mind, you know, when you do particularly well in a game, you know, you individually, you get a big reward. Now, one of the things that the WBMs don't like, the Wannabe Mavericks don't like, is that when you're fighting for the team, sometimes you have to take one for the team, aka you sacrifice, you get killed, things like that. Now, everyone should... In pug matches, it's far more difficult to get a cohesive team where everybody's, you know, got a proper role to play. And that's where the WBMs ironically flourish, because when they decide to go and just do their own thing and not care about the team, well, half the time pug matches are so chaotic, nobody even notices. And the WBM, the typical WBM player, isn't all that interested in winning. Now, mind you, there's probably a better profit margin for them doing well. You know, the better they do, the maybe, you know, there might be a better chance for winning. But the fact is, the best chance for winning is when you work with your team. WBM generally goes rogue. They do their own thing. They do whatever profits for them. And half the time, if not more than, they will ignore any drop commander that tries to issue them orders or get them to come back or anything like that, citing them as a noob or a pug or whatever it is they feel like makes them feel better. I think the mailman just got, you know, might be dead again. So, with this in mind, WBMs are not cohesive to teams, but the reward system rewards them for what they're doing, because when they go off and they do their own thing, they don't have to worry as much about sacrificing for the team, getting killed, etc., etc., etc. earlier on in the game, where when you're fighting for the team, you're sacrificing in different ways quite often, and you don't get those self-same rewards. So, basically, when I have sacrificed for the team, or, gone through and been trying to help, even drop commanded, and been confronted with WBMs, one of their favorite arguments is, my score is better than yours, you pug noob. Well, I either went in first, was killed, but that managed to get the team to go in, or I sat back and was a support mech, like my support dog is, and protected one of the assaults in their sweet spot or something like that. There's all kinds of ways, when you're actually doing something for the team, there's a reason why you don't have a high score. PGI does not set up the system to reward team players. They reward WMBs. Wannabe Mavericks. So, of course they're going to point to that score. It's going to be higher than mine. Because they go off, they do their own thing, they rack up high damage, oftentimes many kills, and duel with other WMBs, etc. But they help lose games. When you have... guess we're about to get nuked. When you have several WMBs on your side, and you're trying to do a team game, you are far likelier to lose your game. Because if the enemy actually has their freaking crap together and is actually coming at you as a team, if they happen to run into the WMBs who have gone rogue, that's, well, I don't know, let's say there's 3 of them. 3 easy kills, they just roll right over them. Or let's say they don't, they just run into you. You're down 3 players already because they're off doing their own thing, trying to snipe or LRM, SRM. I don't care. WMB's got their own freaking way they do it, and each one of their mechs don't care. The point is, they just go off and they do their own thing, and they are not cohesive with the team even when you're calling for help. And they rage at the team when they get stomped, when they went off and did their own thing, etc. Basically, they are a poison inside of team playing. And they mess everything up for everybody. Now, PGI claims to be advocates for encouraging people to fight as a team. Yet the way their reward system is set up would vie against that. What's more is every single time they have an event, it only aggravates the WBMP problem, as each event's reward program is based solely off the performance of the individual, not the team, causing even more Wannabe Mavericks to emerge. Now, I will admit these players, they do have remarkable skill. They are skilled players, which would be so much better if they'd fight for the team. Thing is, in their head, they've realized what I'm pointing out. When they go rogue and they don't have to worry about sacrificing for the team, they get more for it. I mean, sure, when they win, they get an extra 10 grand. That's kind of nice. 15 grand if you count in premium time. And another 3 grand if you count in a hero mech. Sure, that's alright. But they factor in so much more when they just do their own thing and don't care about the team. Most of them aren't interested in being drop commanders. Most of them aren't interested in trying to get the team to be cohesive. They just want to do their own thing. There are a few decent drop commanders out there who come into the fight looking to actually help the team win and, rack it up that way. Because, of course, when you win and you actually help the team win, you don't have to be the one who just gets killed or you completely curb stomp the enemy 12-0. I've been in a few of those matches on both sides. It's absolutely awesome. You rack up so much damage, you rack up the C-bills, etc. But that requires efforts. And you don't get rewarded C-bills for just trying to take command and leading the drop into battle. Unless you are very successful. And when you're not successful, there's a lot of ragers out there, usually the WBMs, who get seriously ticked at you because you failed. Sure, there's a lot of really good, awesome, constructive players out there who'll say, hey, thanks for trying. But in modern society, you remember negativity more than you do positivity. I mean, positivity, generally speaking, when you're trying to be a drop commander, positivity trumps negativity every single time. But when people attack you, it sticks in your mind more. So every time I've drop commanded, I remember my failures more than I do my successes, which is one of the reasons why I eventually stopped for the most part. I've drop commanded a couple of times recently. One, we were starting to lose, and I helped turn it around into a huge win. And in the following match, I tried to then drop command, and nobody listened. It fell apart. The whole game just died. Well, no, half the team didn't listen. So, long story short, though, the WBMs were the ones that didn't listen. And that's because of the WBMP, which PGI has set up. The Wannabe Maverick Program. Now, what I would like to actually solve this problem, you know, especially with the event going on right now, the Media Mech Madness, there are so many WBMP, WBMs in the WBMP, because not only because of the personal challenge events, but all these leaderboards. Everybody is obsessed. It's all about racking up everything for yourself. It's not about working for a team. Even if you're in a unit, you are, the moment they do one of these events, everyone in your unit is a competitor. They are your competition, not your teammates. In that regard. Every single time. And it's like PGI is brainless. Do you not understand what you are doing to set yourself up for failure? You pretend to advocate team battles, yet your entire reward system is based off solo? I mean, sure, you've got a few things like that measly 10 grand to encourage the team victory, but you do little else. You've set up the WBMP, whether you'd like to admit it or not. Now, as I was saying a moment ago, what I would like to see from PGI to actually encourage true team playing, to set up the reward system. So in other words, to back up, to put action into your empty words so that your words aren't empty anymore. What I'd like is, I have a mech, the support dog. I've talked about it before. It's the one with 3 anti-missile systems on that Kit Fox. Its quirks make these systems even better with a 5% increased rate of fire and a 10% increased range. Then the weapon modules I have equipped is the AMS Overload, upping the damage by 2.5%, and the Clan AMS Range 5, increasing the range by a further 10%, which may not seem like that much until you factor in the fact that I have 3 of them with 6,000 rounds. I can rip missiles out of the air like there's no tomorrow. And combined with the ECM that I have on that mech, it is an ideal support mech. But when I run it, I know I am not going to make very many C-bills at all. Because PGI has set it up to reward WBMs, but not team players. When I sacrifice by running the support dog, I know it's a sacrifice. Now, what PGI can do to fix this? When I am there protecting an assault mech, sacrificing for the team, maybe the longer I keep the same slow, cumbersome assault mech covered with my ECM, give me a stacking C-bill bonus rates. Nothing excessive, but when I cover him the whole game, you know, sitting there keeping his back protected. I mean, they have proximity rewards. They detect when your lance is together. They give a measly 120 bill C-bill bonus for that. Whoop-de-doo. But to me, that indicates that they already have a system in place that could be adapted. You know, detect the fact that I am protecting this assault mech the entire game. I'm hugging him. I'm trying to keep him safe. When they fire missiles on him, and I'm shooting those missiles out of the air, have a stacking C-bill rewards program for that. Just The more I protect this guy, the more I help keep him safe, the more you can pump out rewards for that. That is just one small way that you could start rewarding team players. Then people would be like, whoa, this support class thing, it's kind of cool. I want to go and start doing that. So you'd have less WBMs and more team players. You'd actually start putting your action behind your words, because all of your team rewards are pathetically small. Pathetically. And in every game, it's the WBMs that gain the most, by far. If PGI would just do these things, it would help immensely to not only encourage team efforts towards victory, but to help abolish the WBMP, which has flourished under their tender guidance. Please, PGI, make these changes. I'd like to see MWO, Mech Warrior Online, become great. I really would. And this would be a step in the right direction. Well, thanks everyone for watching. I really hope you enjoyed this. If you have any feedback, I'd love to hear from you in the comment section below. Good, bad, whether you think this is a good idea, bad idea, etc. Love to hear from you. If you like this video, go ahead and give it a thumbs up. If you dislike this video, go ahead and give it a thumbs down. And if you enjoy this kind of content, please subscribe. In any case, don't get into too much trouble, or do. It's always up to you. Toodles!